Now that we have a bunch of fibers, I just went out and processed a bunch of the fibers. And now I'm going to show you how to make the cordage with the fibers. So we're just going to take a strand like this. Okay, and the first thing you want to do, and this works really well if you're you wet your fingers a little bit, but you're going to just roll it one way. You can either roll it on your pant leg, okay, you can roll it in your palms, but just roll one direction. So I'm going to roll away from me. I always roll everything away from me. Now I got it all rolled. Now what I'm going to do is, first off, when you do this, you want to do uneven ends. So you don't want to just be halved off, because when we splice, we don't want to splice at the same spot twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it here and leave one end a little longer than the other. Okay, we're going to just take it and I'm going to take the right side and twist it away from me until it makes a little loop. Now we're going to do what's called a reverse twist. Now when you do a reverse twist, if you look down on the strand this direction, okay, this direction straight down, and imagine it like a clock. We're going to roll this one forward, which is clockwise. Then the bottom one right here in the center, okay, is going to pull under, and that's counterclockwise, reverse twist. So clockwise and counterclockwise, and then you just continue down the pieces, the strand, until you have a little piece of cordage. Another little tip as I go along here, I just had an area that was a little thin and it looked like it was going to break. So what I do is, before I get there, I take a little strand and of material, and I splice it kind of in on that weaker section, just to make sure that I get an even blend. So that's another really good tip, so that you can get a nice even thickness of a line. One more quick tip while I'm doing this is I like to wet my fingers a little bit. So I have a little bowl of water here, and you just kind of dip your fingers in it and you wet your fingers as you do it, because it really helps make the strands stick together. Now you don't want them to be soaking wet, but just a little bit wet, so that as you do it, the strands stick together a lot better. I think you're going to find that that's going to make it a lot easier for you to make the cordage. Okay guys, we got a nice little piece of twine right here, or cordage. Now notice this is a really thin cordage. This size I find is great for doing like maybe a sewing project or something like that. You can also create a thicker size by using more fibers. Now the way I usually measure the fibers is, you can either, when you break it into quarters, you can either do a real thin thread like this, which is actually only 1/4 of the thread, okay, or the ribbons of cordage material that you get, or you can do half, which is going to make it a little thicker, or you can do a whole one as one strand for making your cordage, and that will be a lot thicker. Now one thing I like about really thin is, we're going to show you in a second how to double it over and wrap it again to make an even stronger piece of cordage, and I find that when you wrap it twice like that, you get extremely strong cordage, even stronger than if you do a thicker piece. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to do the splice. So I have this end right here, I have my new cordage, and all you do is you just kind of double it over like this and then twist it together. Okay, now we're going to just start going back into our double twist method. Okay, and sometimes when you do this, you'll have a few of the fibers sticking out when you're done at the points of the splice. No big deal. You can actually clean that up with a scissor and cut along, or you can just take a match or a lighter or something like that and burn off the ends. But again, now that we have the splice together, you just continue to do your double wrap like this, and your splice is complete. By the way, I just put on my next splice, and this splice had a little bit more bark on it than the other splice, but I just wanted to let you guys know that when you do the double twist, okay, a lot of that bark will come off while you're twisting it, because and then later on you might have some bark on it, but I noticed from some of the pieces that I've made in the past is the bark starts to really dry up on the cordage and then eventually comes off. So that's why I don't really particularly like the method of trying to scrape the bark off, because it seems like it takes so long to do that, and you're just gonna get it off anyway when you do the double twist. Okay guys, now I'm finished with my strand, first strand. Now this stuff is incredibly strong. I mean, even just this little thread, I mean, I can't, as hard as I try to pull, I cannot pull it apart.